What is going on, New York Jet fans? Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Week 18 pregame show. The Jets traveling up to Buffalo to face off against their division rival Bills. The last regular season game at Highmark Stadium, and we have our last pregame show of the 2025 Jets season. What is going on, everyone? I am Connor Long, soon to be joined by Matt O'Leary. Running a little late, he should be able to join us in a few minutes. Thank you all for tuning in. However, and wherever you are watching us, be sure to drop down below, smash that like button, hit subscribe. That is the free way to help support the show. If you guys want to get on in here, call in with the pinned comment at the top of the chat in the description down below as well. We appreciate your support. As always, like I said, appreciate you guys. And thank you for sticking with Matt and I despite this rough, nightmarish season for the New York Jets. But what else is new now? 15 years it is, as crazy as that sounds, without the playoffs. So again, no fans like Jets fans. So thank you for continuing to support us, continuing to support the show. It really means a lot. Again, appreciate the hell out of you guys. Appreciate your support. I know a lot of you guys are currently scoreboard watching because the biggest story of today's game between the Jets and the Bills, and frankly, the biggest story since you could even say midway through November, has been the tank and Jets fans continuing to root for this team to get the highest possible draft pick. Right now, Gangrene's draft pick is currently slotted at number 3 overall, can get as high as number 2, and it can get as low as number 7 in the order. So obviously, a week 18 win at this point, whether you're pro tank or anti tank, is meaningless, especially when you look at how banged up the Jets are across the entirety of their depth chart. A win today would do nothing but hurt New York's draft position. The big game, obviously, in the 1 p.m. window is Giants Cowboys. The Giants currently hold a 16-10 lead over Dallas entering halftime. Fans should be rooting for the Giants to come away with that win because Giants are currently one slot higher than the Jets. Giants win and a Jets loss would get them to number 2 in the order. It looks like Matt's here. Matt, what is going on, my friend? Kind of did a little segment on the tank for 3 or so minutes. How you doing? Oh, you're on mute. Matt, we don't hear you. I think you might be on mute. All right. He's figuring it out, folks.
How about now?
Boom. We got you loud and clear. Matt, how you doing?
Beautiful. My advice, don't become a homeowner because you might have to deal with plumbing situations on a Sunday morning. So that is all cleared away. Hopped in the shower quick, and I said, I got to talk about this 3-13 football team with my good friend Connor Long.
I appreciate it, Matt. Great to see. As always, we skip it. We weren't around last week. Primarily my fault. I was unable to do the show. And last week's game was not very fun. I'll say that. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch it live because I couldn't get it down in Florida, and I was out with family. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna watch the game live. That was the first Jet game I hadn't watched live since some game in like 2021 or something like that, or 2020. I watched that. I didn't even, I was checking the score sporadically. I watched it after the fact.
Why would you do that to yourself? If I knew what the score was. So you were telling me you're checking your phone when it's 35-3 at the half, and you're like, I can't wait to go home and watch this game after.
No, I had to watch it because I needed to see like how bad it
Fair
was.
Enough.
Like 42 points, 42-10, obviously the final score. It was like the defense just touchdown after touchdown after touchdown for 6 straight possessions to open the game, man. Like this team is historically bad, evident by their point differential, -107 for the month of December, the worst in NFL history. Look, fans will continue to say, oh, every game day is so valuable. Sure, I don't know about you, Matt, but I just want the season to end. Like that might sound a little stubborn. I don't even want to watch the game today.
No, I'm with you, man. The mindset is already going to mock draft Monday. I think we'll have our first tomorrow after we find out where the draft order ends up after today. But with the projected lineup that the Jets are tossing out there, I don't know how anyone could be pumped up for this game. Like, what are you tuning in to see? Khalil Herbert? rushed the ball 12 times.
Raheem Blackshear, Matt, elevated from the practice squad.
How can we forget? How can we forget, Connor?
Yeah, dude, today is going to be a rough game. The only thing that I've actually taken away somewhat positive from this year, because all the talks with Aaron Glenn and things like that, nothing that Glenn has done in particular, but the fact that the Jets have had one offensive line pairing all year long. It's been the same offensive line. I think that's the one thing you could take away that is somewhat positive from this year.
Yeah, offensive line stayed mostly healthy, which is good after the AVT injury. I think they've played pretty well, but as you said, we're kind of grasping at straws to look at some positives. Like, for instance, Aaron Glenn said this week they didn't have a field goal block, so that could also be looked at as one of the positive things from this Jets team in 2025.
The field goal protection champs, Matt. Hopefully, they don't get a field goal block today, because look, that could be you could put that on a T-shirt. The 2025 field goal champs, or field goal protection champs.
Raise the banner. I know we've talked about this a ton on the pre-games because it's been an insane story, but them not having an interception, what are the chances they get through this game without one? Are you feeling confident that they're able to get it done, or is some guy we never heard of going to intercept a pass today?
Oh, no, they're not going to get an interception today. Even if Mitch Trubisky plays 3.5 quarters of the game, which I think he will, Jets aren't getting an interception. People act like, oh, if Mitch Trubisky comes in, the Jets could perhaps somewhat spoil the tank. Absolutely not. Mitch Trubisky attempted one pass this year against the Jets, and it was a 33-yard completion to Keon Coleman on third down of the Week 2 game. Mitch Trubisky is better than pretty much, the Jets defense is going to be able to stop Mitch Trubisky. I'll put it that way. This defense is so bad, Matt, on every single level. Every single level. And you look at the guys, they're going to be without Brandon Stevens as well today. Yeah, so Brandon Stevens, Will McDonald's obviously on IR. I doubt they're going to want Jermaine Johnson playing a significant amount of snaps, because he's already looked hindered these past few weeks as well. I mean, you're looking at a secondary that is going to be comprised of Jasir Taylor, Trey Brown, we might see take some defense. Quantez Stiggers.
No, he's already ruled out.
Oh, Stiggers. Okay, Stiggers were ruled out. Add that to the list. Jordan Clark, Jordan Clark is not good. I'm gonna be nice to Jordan when I say that, but man, he just doesn't look like an NFL player, and I feel bad for him. It's a similar situation with Brady Cook, right? Because these guys are undrafted rookies who shouldn't be starting games at the NFL level. They're just getting put out to dry at this point.
Yeah, and Michael Clemens out, Isaiah Davis, Xavier Newman, Quantez Stiggers, Mason Taylor, Jelani Woods, Breece Hall, Brandon Stevens. It's a long, long list. Joe Tippmann popped up on the injury report. I know he was a full participant on Friday. How much is he going to play in this game? It's going to look like an August Jets game where you're watching in the third quarter and be like, I have no idea who this is. And I guess that's awesome. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to spend a ton of time in this hour talking about the actual upcoming game. And, you brought it up with Mitch Trubisky playing 3.5 quarters. I guess that was kind of my question for you, is how long do you think Buffalo is going to play their starters in this game?
Josh Allen, because he wants to keep the active game streak going, extended to 124 or 25 games or something like that. I think with Josh, there's a possibility they literally put him out there for the opening snap, hands it off to James Cook, and is done. At the most, I think they'll play is a quarter, so 3 or 4 drives. Other than that, I just don't see it. Why risk it? The Bills already have a spot in the playoffs. Sure, they could potentially finagle something if some things go their way. Also, around the league, they can get a few tiebreakers and potentially move up a seed or two. But why risk it? Why would you want these guys to get hurt? Just put them out for a few drives and then hang it up. We'll see all the starters today who are healthy, because it is the last game in that building, Highmark Stadium. Yeah. So we're going to see all Buffalo starters, healthy starters, at some point today. I just don't think it's going to be very long.
No, I don't think so either. And, it kind of reminds me that this is before your time, but in 2010, the Jets had everything locked up. They were playing Buffalo at home the last week of the year. Starters played a series, and then it was like the Mark Brunell show for the rest of the game. And the Jets still won. I believe won pretty big against Buffalo in that game. And it was just a good vibes game, because it didn't matter if they lost, they would have went 10-6, but they would have stayed in the same spot. They couldn't move up or down in the wild card standings. but it was all the Jets backups beating the crowd. I think John Connor may have had a touchdown in the game. Who's like a fullback, and it was just it was the best. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, dude, today's game is just going to be rough either way, right? Because like if they win, fans are going to be disappointed, and I don't blame them because like the Giants are up right now, which is huge for the tank, and Dak Prescott just came out of the game. Joe Milton has entered for Dallas. That would be huge if the Giants could get a win. That would be huge for the Jets draft position. But at the same time, you know, if the Jets get a win and some bounces don't go their way, they could potentially fall as low as number 7 in the order, which would be killer because this team is not good. Like they're as good as their record is. I think you could say that. Like last year, they won 5 games. 2023, they won 7 games, but they had more talent on their roster than that. This team, when you look at their overall roster, how they're coached, everything like that, they are a 3-win football team. They are, in my opinion, one of the worst teams in all of football. Like I think you could put them right up there with the Titans, right up there with the Raiders, teams like that. I think the Jets are that bad of a team. They need to address so many holes across this roster, and that's why you want them to have the highest possible draft pick so they can get their quarterback in the top 5, whoever that may be. And that opens the door for so many more other possibilities with the 3 other picks that they have within the top 50 and their other first-round pick acquired by the Colts that could technically rise as high as number 14 in the order. So I think there's a lot to look forward to when you talk about the offseason and draft position. Not much in today's game except hoping that the Jets get the highest draft position.
Yeah, and there's a chance that happens if the Giants hold on to the lead there, which would be nice, a nice consolation, right? Finishing with the number 2 pick. I know it's not all the way up to number 1, but a number 2 pick is still obviously pretty valuable for you. While you were talking, I pulled up the box score from that game that I referenced. Just in an absolutely hilarious game, Connor. If we want to go back and talk about some positive vibes for just a half second here. A 38-7 win. Mark Brunell was 6 of 12 for 110 yards. 2
my.
I was right. John Connor had a rushing touchdown.
Okay.
Braylon Edwards and Santonio Holmes had they had touchdowns. They did. Brian Brom started for the Bills. He was 10 of 23 with 3 picks, and someone named Levi Brown threw an interception too. I have no recollection of Levi Brown, but yeah, like wouldn't it be nice if Jets were ever in a spot again where it's like, hey, we can put all our backups in against a shitty divisional opponent and just clown them. And now the shoe's on the other foot, it doesn't feel as nice.
Yeah, every time I watch the Jets get blown out, whether it was the Jacksonville game or the game last week against New England, I always think, in my time rooting for this team, I don't think I've really ever seen that, where the Jets are just demolishing and beating up a team. The closest example I have, I think, would have to be 2022 against the Dolphins, where Quinnen Williams stiff-armed Tyreek Hill, and Skylar Thompson came into the game. They had a safety. Like, that's the closest, and that was against a Dolphins team that not only was bad, but, I mean, they were on their 3rd quarterback by the 2nd quarter of that game. So, yeah, I mean, look, today's game isn't going to be fun. Do we see Hendon Hooker, Matt? Is there going to be a 4th quarterback to appear in a game for the Jets this year?
You know what? Honestly, probably. I wouldn't put it past them if Brady Cook hasn't looked great. I think it's 1 touchdown to 7 interceptions in the 4 games that he's played. Would not shock me if we get a second half Hendon Hooker action.
Now, I want to talk about the interception drought. I know we touched on it a little bit. Jets, I don't think, are getting an interception today. They've already made NFL history in point differential. The drought has actually made NFL history for the longest consecutive games without an interception. And I was listening to Chris Harris address reporters on Thursday or Friday, it was, Matt, and he was kind of answering questions about this drought as if it was like a joke or something funny. Like he was laughing during his response, how bizarre it was. Like, I don't know about you. This is just something I picked up on. I don't think this is something that the Jets should be laughing about. This is something that is utterly embarrassing and a record that I don't think will be broken for at least another decade at the minimum. Like, I think there's a chance that this could literally be in the history books for a decade plus. I don't think this is something the Jets should be laughing about. Like, it's not funny.
No, it never happens. It never happens, right? This is one of those, we've said it a million times on these pre-games where it's like, how do you not get one by accident? right? Like
Yeah.
it's truly remarkable, right, to see them go an entire year without an interception. But that's one of those where it's like I don't know if that might just stand forever at that point. Like
Hmm.
that might be one of those records that don't get broken. It's not quite the
Yeah.
Kyle Ripken Iron Man streak, but it's really, really hard in the NFL to go a 17 game season without an interception.
It's impossible. It's crazy. And I mean, the whole unit, the Jets, I think, have 26 total sacks on defense this year. Myles Garrett alone has 22 and a half for the Browns. Like, they're not getting the backfield. They're not creating any pressure. Every single position on this defense, Matt, could use an upgrade. Every single position needs to be upgraded this offseason.
Yeah, you're right. And I know, a lot of this hour is probably going to be spent talking off season, but could they use an interior defensive lineman? Yes. Edge? Yes. Linebacker? Probably two. Safety? Probably two. Corner? You probably could use another corner as well. And, I don't know how much of that you could do in one off season, but
Yeah.
there is, they do have money to spend in free agency. They do have a ton of draft picks. They have the ability to, trade 6th round picks, which it feels like they have a million of, for established players like they did with, a bunch of the trades this year.
Hmm.
Harrison Phillips, Jarvis Brownlee,
Briggs.
Briggs, thank you. Maybe the best of them all, and Jawan
Hmm.
Briggs. Like, I would expect them to really get creative to add to this roster, because they can't afford, Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji can't afford to be a 3-win team again next year. They're not going to have a job in 2027 if they do that. It's everyone knows they're coming back for next year, so they need to take a big step forward in 2026.
Absolutely. Like, what do you think gets him a third year? Because 6 wins over 2 years certainly won't. I think they need to win at least 7 games next year and see noticeable, tangible improvement over the season to come back for a third year.
Yeah, no, I think 7's probably a good number. And it's not impossible. The quarterback play is going to be a big factor in that. Defense clearly is a major issue right now, but we just went through all the money and assets that they have to add to that room. So that's not an unfair expectation. I know it's really bad right now, and you're going to go, how are they going to more than double their win total with how bad they've looked? It's the NFL, man. Like, you gotta figure it out. And for their sake, if they go 3 wins this year, 4 wins next year, the one win improvement's not going to be enough. I don't think they're getting a third season and getting a chance to use all those draft picks that they got in the 2027 draft if they don't, take a significant step forward.
Absolutely. Like, I entirely agree with that. And let's just talk about how quick rebuilds can exist in the NFL. Last year, the Jets had a better record than the New England Patriots. And as much as I hate to say this as a Jets fan, the Patriots could win a Super Bowl this year. Like, that is how crazy it is. The Patriots had a worse record than the Jets last year. This year, the Jets are 3-13. Right now, the Patriots, I think, are 13-3. So just flip the records around there, and they're going to be in the playoffs. They could go to a Super Bowl. Like, that's how quick rebuilds can transpire in the NFL, and it hinges on 2 things: a coach and a quarterback. The Jets don't have a quarterback. Unfortunately, I don't think that the Jets have a head coach right now. So that is the biggest issue right now. Those are the 2 things that you need to win in the NFL.
Yep. No, you're 100% right. It's the 2 most important positions is head coach and quarterback, and they don't have a quarterback, and there is major concern with the head coach. And look, anyone who is really critical of Aaron Glenn, I totally get it. I don't necessarily want to come across as a Glenn sympathizer. He's coming back next year. I've kind of just come to that realization and accepted it. And
exactly.
He's got it for his sake and the team's sake. He's obviously has a lot that he needs to improve on this year, and the roster has to get better. Both things could be true, right? That the roster stinks and that the head coach also needs to get significantly better in year 2.
Absolutely. Like, the roster isn't great, but what Glenn has put on display is inexcusable. Like, it has been so bad. There has been no progress. He hasn't taken over the defense. He didn't take over the defense this season. The game management was an issue. I mean, if the Jets fired Aaron Glenn after this year, which obviously they aren't going to do, they would have evidence to back it up. Like, it would be justified if they decided to go one and done with Aaron Glenn when you look at what he put on display this year compared to recent one and done head coaches.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely can make that case, right? And I just, for me, I think they pretty much locked in that Aaron Glenn was going to come back when they decided to trade Sauce Gardner and they just decided to trade Quinn Williams. And I don't know if those two guys drastically changed the win-loss record. Probably not. In the middle of the year, there was a stretch. I know they started 0-7, which is, I'm not making excuses for it. That's not acceptable. But they were 3-4 in their next 7 games after that.
Yep.
It kind of just looked like a normal bad team. Tyrod Taylor gets hurt. Brady Cook comes in. They start, shutting down guys for the year, and it goes completely off the rails after that. And, I just think that it seems like they were okay with this being the result for right or wrong. And, we'll have to see what it looks like next year.
Matt, a Giants touchdown. So the Giants jump out to even a bigger lead in this game, in which feels more important for Jets fans than the actual result to an extent later this afternoon in Buffalo. Giants 22, Cowboys 10. I think moving up to 2 in the order is important. Unfortunately, the Jets can't leapfrog the Raiders because they can't get that number 1 overall pick. They won't have enough to be done in the strength of schedule department. Even if the Jets and Raiders finish with the same record, Gang Green can't win over that tiebreaker. So finishing with number 2, like if the Jets draft picks can finish with number 2, their own pick, and then that Colts pick can get up to, even 15 or 16, would be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, two top 15 picks would be really nice, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it looks like their Raiders are going to end up with the number 1 pick. And, there's no chance for the Jets to get up to number 1 and control their own destiny. But, having 2 top 15 picks should really go a long way to repair this roster. And whether they decide, it's going to depend, right, on what the quarterback decisions are, who's coming out. Are the Raiders just going to sit and take Fernando Mendoza and there's no one else in this class? Does Dante Moore come out? Do they like Moore? Do they want to take him at 2? Do they go after a veteran and just want to draft, and fill out the rest of the roster? There's so many routes that this team can go here.
Absolutely. And I think that's what was so important about those deadline trades, added flexibility. Now, you mentioned the picks, Matt, also the cap space. The Jets are projected to have over $90 million in cap space this offseason. They could do so much of that. And next year, there's no excuses really for anyone on this coaching staff, in this front office, the roster, things of those nature. I want to get into a report that Albert Breer put out earlier in the week about the Jets offensive coaching staff and any changes. Pretty much stated that Tanner Engstrand, the offensive coordinator, is going to get a second year, but the Jets are going to try to make coaching upgrades around him.
Yeah, and I think that's the the right approach. We've said this a lot this year, how hard it was to evaluate Tanner Engstrand. And I'm not going to sit here today after the season that they've had and say, yeah, he's absolutely the guy. But, I think he deserves a chance for a second year. And, depending on if they draft a quarterback or what, to design an offense that best fits that player and their roster. So I'm good with that approach. I still am, cautiously optimistic with Tanner Engstrand, but I mean, the rest of that offensive staff, they're very young. And if they want to make a change at quarterback coach or even just bring in some sort of senior advisor to this staff, I think that's a wise decision.
I agree. Absolutely. Look, I think it's hard to fully assess Engstrand and his body of work this year, looking at the personnel that he's had to call plays for, looking at the rotating cycle of lackluster quarterback play that he has had to deal with. Next year, again, I think he deserves a free pass. I think he deserves to be back next year, and it sounds like the Jets will do just that. But I agree with the report. The Jets need to add infrastructure around Engstrand on the coaching staff and help build a development plan for whoever the rookie quarterback is next year to come in and have success right away. Matt, I think we do have the inactives list. Do you have it pulled up?
I saw from the Bills, but let's do the
Jets one first. I could pull it up if you like.
Go ahead.
Boom. Here it is. Jets inactives today in Buffalo. Tyrod Taylor will be the emergency quarterback. Tyler Johnson, Breece Hall, Brandon Stevens, Quantez Stiggers, Michael Clemens, Jelani Woods. Matt, the fact that the Jets aren't even suiting up Tyrod Taylor, like that is the most evident tank job I've ever seen. Like he's healthy. He's definitely, if he's the emergency quarterback, that is indicating he's healthy.
Yeah, he is healthy enough to play, but hey, Hendon Hooker is there and
I
ready.
wanted them in the offseason. So when I saw they added Hendon Hooker in week 15, I was a little excited. I would start Hendon Hooker today. Like the Jets continuing to insist that Brady Cook gives them the best chance to win is just laughable. Like I every single week listening to Glenn on Monday saying Brady will be our starter this week. He gives us the best chance to win.
He
doesn't.
He doesn't. I'm
no,
sorry.
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
7 interceptions to 1 touchdown. Is that what you said it was, Matt?
Yes, and 3 fumbles. Not all lost, but he has fumbled the ball 3 times.
You can't make it up.
It looks like Mitch Trubisky is going to start, if I'm reading this correct, from the Buffalo Bills PR. They list Trubisky above Allen, and they list like Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox are below Kalecki Latu and Jackson Hawes. So I think we're going to see a lot of the shocking, but we're going to see a lot of the Bills backups in this game.
Yeah, and look, I wouldn't get nervous. For me, as someone who's rooting for the tank, and I know a lot of Jets fans out there are as well, I wouldn't get nervous per se, right? Because I think the Bills backups could still very, very much beat this team today. I'm not concerned about that.
Without a doubt. Indy Jets chimes in. I wanted to pull up his super chat. Says the Giants are winning. We might get the number 2 pick. Go Jets. Yeah, I mean, if the that's all that needs to happen. You don't have to worry about other strength of schedule stuff. As long as the Jets lose and the Giants win this game, then the Jets are picking number 2 overall.
And the Giants have a 2-score lead right now. And isn't it crazy that I can't even use the line to back my take up? Isn't it crazy that the Jets are only 7.5 point underdogs today? Isn't that just? I think it's 7.5, right?
Yeah, it's moved around, and I think it was because they weren't sure what starters are going to play or were going to play or not for Buffalo. To me, it doesn't really matter. I think Mitch Trubisky and the Buffalo offense could still put up 30 points, and I just have no faith in the Jets being able to score. I think you're probably looking at like a 30-6 kind of game, something like that.
I mean, can they just stay in the game? I mean, is it asking for too much to just be a competitive team? I was talking about this with Will Parkinson on my show yesterday. He was talking about how competitive tanking doesn't exist. And I said, sure, absolutely. But I just wanted this team to be competitive in general. I wanted them to push good teams to the final whistle like they did over that stretch where they won 3 out of 5, where they were pushing Baltimore, where they were, even had a lead in that New England game on Thursday Night Football. The first drive, they marched down the field, scored a touchdown right away. Games like that where they were getting ahead and, fighting with good teams. And this year was anything but that.
Now we do got to keep an eye on the Colts because as Jets Terrible is saying here, come on, Houston. It's Riley Leonard. The Colts are winning, and Davis Mills has entered the game for the Houston Texans.
I was not aware, Matt, that they benched Phillip Rivers until I turned on the game last week. I was like, oh, why is Riley Leonard in there? Come on.
Yeah, it's the end. What a story that was. And I don't know if you saw the report earlier.
Yeah.
He's going to get some head coaching interviews.
Reminds me a little bit of Josh McCown, except Josh McCown. Matt, do you know this? Josh McCown interviewed for the Texans head coaching job while he was on the team.
Yeah, years ago, right? He was that was his last year in the
2020.
League. 2020, right?
And then he interviewed for it again in 2021 after they went 1 and done with David Culley. And I think he interviewed for it again. So he's interviewed for that job 3 times because they went 1 and done twice in a row with David Culley after they fired Bill O'Brien, David Culley, and then Lovie Smith.
Yeah, what a run that was before they finally got it right with D'Amico Ryans and found CJ Stroud. But hey, coach and quarterback, and they turned it around. That's all that matters.
Exactly. I don't know the exact stat. I think it might be Michael Nania had it. The past 6 teams to go 1 and done with a head coach. The next head coach they hired ultimately brought them to the playoffs. So that's here. All 8 head coaches to go 1 and done since 2018. The following coach later brought that team to the playoffs. So that's crazy. That is insane.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a good stat. But, usually that indicates, right, if a coach goes one and done, that there's going to be a lot of turnover on that roster.
Mhm.
And I'm sure, I don't know the examples off the top of the head, but I'm sure there's a lot of new quarterbacks that went into those places. And that's what it comes down to for the Jets. And to me, I think in the draft is finding their quarterback this year.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me, well, Connor, why are you worried about Aaron Glenn ruining a quarterback? He is not an offensive coach. I said, I'm not worried about him ruining the quarterback. I'm worried about this regime taking the wrong quarterback. And you take the wrong quarterback, it doesn't matter. It's you could set the franchise back another 4 years.
Yeah, unfortunately, we saw that with Zach Wilson, right? They took him second overall, and they were never able to get over the hump, and in large part due to quarterback play and coaching. The coaching clearly wasn't good enough too. We found that out, but it can save your franchise or derail your franchise.
Most definitely.
So tough.
Absolutely. We got anything we want to hit before we wrap anything up here, Matt?
It looks like we might be getting a call. If Macho Beast's camera turns on, we can go.
Oh, Beast joined at the buzzer. Shout out to you, Beast.
Hell yeah, Beast.
Should I say, swish?
What's up, Beast?
2026. Finally, the new year. 1 year. What should I say? One word. Wow. Well, it don't look like our chances against the Bills are this slim, like that. See how small that is?
Probably a good thing at this point.
Beast, who's your QB? Who's your QB1 in the draft?
Well, I want Mendoza. The kid has got it. He has it. I want him. And this is how much we're gonna take for it. We're gonna take $45 million and use it for him. I want that guy. He has a cannon on him. 6'5", he's big, he's built, he's hungry, and I like guys like that who are hungry to win. That's called striving to survive. But for the other 8 guys that are not going to be here next year, should I say bon voyage, or should I say kumbaya, kumbaya? Yeah, I want to say goodbye to them. They had a great run, but unfortunately, you fell just a little bit short. Short only counts in the game of horseshoes and hand grenades. So this is what we look at next year. New season, 8 new stars. I want Mendoza, and then there's one more quarterback. I'll be looking at several of them when this draft starts. I'll be taking a very long, deep in look into it, and my boys, my 3 other guys are going to be doing some deep scouting. So we're going to be doing some looking around. And when it comes to talent, the free agent market's going to be open. We're going to take some big boys. I want boys with meat. I'll give you a hint. This is meat. You know why this is meat? This is attitude. Not this. What the hell is this shit? Bushy shit? Get out of here. That's weak. That's worthless and weak. I want boys with attitude, boys with muscles, boys with brains, and boys with an attitude who are really to knock teeth out and knock a few heads around like a bunch of Looney Tunes. So next season, this is the new thing. Strive to survive, stay on your feet, and don't get killed. And those 2 new ice baths are going to get installed in that locker room. We're going to spend $3.2 billion. And when that talent comes around, hey, boys, we got checkbooks. But here's the thing. You're going to come to work. And when you come to work, turn your phone off, work with your teammates. That means work with your coaches, your peers, and everybody else in that locker room. We're not going to have this bullshit of everybody crying and whining and complaining of who's going to start and who's going to do what. When you get here, you turn your phone off, you get your ass prepared for battle. That means get prepared, get dressed, lace up your boots, get your ass on the field, and learn to work with your new teammates. That's the way it works around here. Everybody's got to work together. It's called work together. That's what teammates have to do. Work together. It's called working within the system. That's the way the world works. If you don't want to be here, that's fine. We'll release you. That's how it works around here. If you don't want to be here, that's fine. There's 2 different ways. Everybody's got them. That's the way the world works. Oh, and Happy New Year to both of you guys.
Thank you.
How was your Christmas there, Connor?
Oh, it was great, Beast. How about yours?
Not too bad, but I did get what I wanted.
What'd you get?
Oh, plenty of goodies. Let's see. A brand new. I got something for the tree over there. Got a bunch of
Nice.
Got some new shirts, new jackets, everything. Hey, what you see is what you get. But next season, 8 new stars, Mendoza, and 1 more good quarterback. But he has to be a veteran because we gotta have key talent. We have to say goodbye to Tyrod because Tyrod is too old, too banged up, and we can't have banged up anymore because that's costing us money, and money does not come cheap. And you know that, Connor, right? Money.
Yes.
Am I right? Money does not come cheap.
Hit the nail on the head, Beast.
Nailed it.
Hey, it's like a credit card. All you gotta do is, if you spend it wisely, you gotta pay it off. That's all that there is to it. Everybody's gotta do it from time to time. But next year, bye-bye to Tyrod and bye-bye to Crybaby Fields because I can't stand that Goomba anyway. That guy was a loser. I thought at first he would do great here, but unfortunately, he looked like he's Crybaby material, and that ain't gonna You know what I mean by this?
Nope.
And
it's not gonna cut it.
Not gonna cut it. Not gonna pay your bills. Not gonna pay my bills, your family bills, or anybody's bills. Your bills are gonna pay his. He should think about that. It's called, you want to be here? You're gonna have to prove yourself here. That means you need to produce, and you're gonna have the media all over you. I don't care. You just shove it down their miserable, pissless throat. Do it right and actually do your job.
Thank you, Beast.
Incredible rant from our friend Beast there. Had to bring him on for the final show. Want to do a quick bold prediction for this?
Yeah, we can hit a bold prediction. I actually wanted to pull up this tweet quickly. I just saw it from Justin Freed of the Jet Press. Here's a look at some position groups for the Jets today. I'll zoom in a little more so people watching on their phones can see it. Running back, Kaneno Wangu, Khalil Herbert, Raheem Blackshear. Cornerback, Jasir Taylor, Trey Brown, Jordan Clark, Samuel Womack. I'm going to be honest, I have no clue who Samuel Womack is. Defensive end, Jermaine Johnson, Eric Watts, Brady McGregor, Kingsley Jonathan. What is this?
Oh, you got to love it. You got to love it.
Oh, Quentin Skinner's playing today. That's something that we could potentially look forward to. We'll see Quentin Skinner in action. We'll see him. Tyler Johnson as a healthy scratch, the only healthy scratch today. I feel bad for Tyler Johnson. That's kind of
that was going to be my bold prediction. Quentin Skinner, 3 catches today.
Quentin Skinner, 3 catches. Okay, I gotta come up with a good one. I'm gonna say I'll go on the defensive side of the ball. I'll say Kingsley Jonathan gets a sack. I'll say that. I'll go pretty bold down the year. Kingsley Jonathan gets a sack for the Jets today. That's my bold prediction, Matt.
I love it.
Matt, it was great doing the show with you this year. Yeah, thank you everyone for sticking with us. If you're still watching us here in week 18, it was a wild ride from week 1 all the way here. The second year of Matt and I doing these shows together. Hopefully many more to come, and hopefully some more wins to come.
Would be nice
over these next few years. Anyways, Matt, it's great doing these shows with you. It was an honor. Look, I'm not gonna miss the Jets games, but I'm gonna miss doing these shows with you. So it's great. Whenever we get to collaborate, and shout out to everyone tuning in, guys.
I love it. Look forward to doing it again next year. That'll do it for us. This one, guys. I'm Matt. He's Connor, and we'll catch you next time. Text you next time. What the hell am I talking about? Come on.
Let's go.
I hit the button.